So the DIY/tool guy in me broke down and bought a scanner. Now, let me tell you what, if you're shopping for one of these and you want any kind of advanced features beyond just the normal reset the check engine light kind of thing, holy crap, is it difficult to navigate what works with what. You have to go on the manufacturer's site and look for a big compatibility chart or a lookup table for what works with your specific year, make, and model. This one says it works for the ABS system and a bunch of other stuff for my 2012 Soul. We'll see. It was 98 bucks, something like that. That's basically what they start at. Best case scenario, resets the light. It's a wash, maybe spending a little more than what I would have spent at the dealer. Or maybe it's going to tell me what the problem is and I can fix it myself. I don't know. Let's find out. It doesn't come with any instructions. Hopefully it is self-explanatory. English. How do I select yes? Probably the middle button. Yep. Standard. Okay. Autolink in progress. Car's off and it's automatically downloading stuff on battery power. Okay, 100%. Communications there. Oh, verify ignition is on. Okay. Well, let's redo it with ignition on. Son of a bitch. Left rear wheel sensor. Yep. Left rear. After all that, the left rear is the problem. Oh, son of a bitch. Well, I guess I'll order a left rear sensor. Did the front for nothing, I guess. Well, at least it was cheap. So fast forward a couple days. Merry Christmas to me. Back in October, I uploaded a handful of my motorcycle videos onto Facebook because they invited me into their creators program where you can run ads and make money off your videos. And, well, nothing really happened. Until now. I just got 2,500 bucks cash in the bank. They took one of my videos about I can't even remember the name of the product. Quartz coating instead of waxing. Anyway, they ran it viral and it got like 300,000 views or something. And they paid me cash and I didn't even know they were doing it. No, seriously, it's the worst creators program you could possibly imagine. They never told me what ads were on the videos, when they were promoting it, who was promoting it, nothing until it was over. And even then, I don't have details. All I can look, I see the same thing you guys do. Go on there and I see how many views, and I look on the quote-unquote insights and it just shows me how many views per day on a chart. That's it. So I have no idea if they were political ads or if it was something Facebook did internally. They weren't even like normal ad views. It was a actual set dollar amount. So very strange, but time to upgrade. Going for some speakers. Going for some big speakers because they're on an incredible sale right now. Almost half off. Getting the top of the line non-Atmos Klipsch speakers. Best Buy happens to have them here. I could save a little bit online, not paying tax, but I'd rather get them right now. And the matching center channel, top of the line reference series. So yeah, having some fun. Oh yeah, and I went actually a little nuts on a sub. Caught the tail end of a Black Friday sale that was kind of like last chance and got a monster 12-inch SVS sub. SVS? Oh man, I'm having a brain fart. I think it's SVS. Anyway, serious top-of-the-line company making true audiophile grade stuff, and this thing is a monster. The one I have now is great. It's a Klipsch. Sounds awesome. It was overkill for the last house, and it's just enough for the room now. I want overkill again. And there's the wife, who likes tagging along. I want to go to Best Buy.
Dorky vlogger.
She's jealous.
Jealous of what?
What's up, Math Tuber?
Subscribe.
So here are the old speakers, even though they're really not old. They're only a couple of years old, but they've gone out of production. They are the Polk Audio Studio 7 Series 2, and they are truly fantastic speakers. Now, if you're looking for a set of these, and truly, there's nothing that is bad about them, even in a room this size. They do completely fill the room with sound very easily. You can get these on Amazon now for under $4.50 to your door. That's just a phenomenal deal. I paid almost double that, and that was still a great deal when I paid that price. But they use quad 5 1/4 drivers with a big bass port at the bottom and a 1-inch dome tweeter. They are bi-wireable, and I do have, or bi-amped, I should say, and I do have them bi-amped. I'm going to be going back to normal single channel amplification because the Klipsch don't support that. Kind of disappointed in that, but that's okay. And then the center channel here uses quad small drivers to keep the center channel as small as possible. And it's actually cool because I'm going to be able to completely fit it on the mantle, completely flush, and I won't need that extra extension board or anything because this has front bass ports, one on each side, so you can put it flush into a cabinet or against a wall. I love that. This one has a bass port on the rear, so that's why I have to leave that gap there. I really should have another couple inches of gap, but it falls right off. I would need a huge board, and that would just be ugly. So I'm looking forward to cleaning that up too. And the center channel is phenomenal. Why in the world do they not have sales on center channels? I went through the same thing with this. I caught an awesome sale when I bought these. Love them. And then, I had to wait to get the matching center channel because it is very important to match your center channel to your main speakers. And this is the matching center channel to the series, but they never go on sale. I don't remember if I got a deal on this or not, or if I just ended up, buying it, but it uses the exact same drivers and it is phenomenal. And likewise, the center channel Klipsch is the reference series matching this. This is a brand new center channel model they came out with, and it's to match all of the current top of the line reference series. And of course, that includes this 820 series. So this should look a lot nicer. The new center channel is actually a lot shorter. It's almost half the height, and it's a little wider, and it's a lot shallower. Doesn't have nearly the cabinet volume of this center channel. I'm hoping it sounds as good because this thing is a phenomenal sounding center channel. Everything's just clear as a bell, very realistic. I have no complaints about it whatsoever. I don't even mind the size. It just sounds great. This whole system sounds great, but I'm looking for that next step. Now I can truly say I have a high-end system, and I'm looking for that almost audiophile quality. I'm not there yet. I'm not spending, $5,000 on a pair of speakers. It's bad enough getting speakers that are, retailing for, I don't know, I think it was $1,200. So, that's as rich as my blood is gonna get. So let's get these unboxed and set them next to here. I'm gonna have to recalibrate the entire system. The new sub will not be here for another couple weeks. I had to order it from one of the few places that still listed it for the super deal price, but it's twice as big as this Klipsch sub. And you can see this Klipsch sub is huge. It's huge and it's heavy and it is solid. It's a down-firing sub with a port on the back, hence why, again, I have to have this huge gap on the wall. The new sub is a front port, so I'll be able to push it back against the wall, but it is absolutely massive. I think it's 140 pounds, and it's gonna come out to here. It's just a beast, but it will be good enough. I could build a dedicated home theater room twice this size, and it would still kick ass. So I'm back to just completely overkill for the room I'm in. This system was complete overkill for my last house, and that's what I loved. I loved just being able to turn it on, put on a movie, and it just rock the room without even breathing hard. This system has to breathe a little hard to fill this space, mostly because of the actual space. I've got double the air room, double the cubic volume in this room as the old house. So looking forward to going back to the crazy levels. But I'm gonna get these unboxed. I don't know if I'm gonna get them set up tonight because I actually have to be on a live show for cigars in about an hour. So I don't know what I'll have time to do, but let's see how they look. Oh yeah, I've got the old sub promised to somebody, but if there's anybody local, no, I'm not shipping. I will make you a killer deal on the front 3 speakers, $550. You got to pick them up though. Let me know. So here's the size difference between the centers. Huge size difference. This one just goes wide instead of deep and tall. Just 2 different ways of skinning a cat, really. You can go with a lesser amount of large displacement woofers. That's kind of like what those did instead of here. Or you can go with lots of small ones. With the center channel, obviously size is the major concern, but the main speaker is not such a concern, so I have no problem going the opposite way. I do like how this has the bass ports in front. That'll definitely clean this up. I will have to pull those out from the wall though, because their bass port, unlike the Polk, which has it down here in front, these are in the rear. So you do need the general rule is you want the same amount of space to the wall as the largest diameter of the port. I believe it's a rectangular port similar to these, so I'll probably have to leave probably 6 or 8 inches away from the wall, which hopefully will be all right, but I won't really have a choice. Here are the sorbitol pads I was telling you guys about. They are quite sticky, so don't put them on any kind of surface that is prone to damage, like a nice table or anything like that. If you're gonna do a direct application like that, just put a piece of plastic on whatever side. I had them completely open up here because I wanted the speaker to stick so it would prevent it from falling forward, so I could pull it out as far as possible for that port clearance. But these do an exceptional job of absolutely killing any kind of vibration. They're not just for speakers. I mean, anything you need to completely stabilize, get yourself some sorbitol. Comes in a whole bunch of different sizes. I got these because they were, about the size of the feet for the speakers and the sub. That's primarily what I got it for, so the sub didn't dance around on the floor, which it does when you turn it up, but also to minimize all the transmission from the speakers to the floor. And it does work beautifully. Completely cleans up the image. Super cheap. So I'll just put these underneath the new center channel. We'll get it up here. And there we go. Now, if it wasn't such a colossal pain in the ass, I would remount the TV and drop it a few inches, but oh my God, I do not want to do that. And as Josh rightly pointed out, it's nice having it up high because you don't have to crane your neck. When you're sitting in the couch and you put your head back, it is perfect. You're not keeping your chin down, not having the backrest on the couch working. It is so comfy to just sit here and completely relax and have a perfect field of vision up to the TV. But being so, it looks like it's a lot smaller than the last one, doesn't it? And what's nice on these is the grills are magnetic. I mean, I like the way Polk did it too with the plastic posts, but wow, magnetic is really super easy. That is a sharp, sharp look. Oh my God. I know the copper really doesn't mean anything. It just looks cool, but I dig it. All right, I am pretty much out of time tonight. I gotta get all my stuff ready to broadcast and hit up the live show for Stickman. I'm his guest tonight. So I guess I will do these mañana. Got the birdie friends out munching this morning. They like eating the acorns and the bits of acorns. They got plenty out there because I spent an hour raking the lawn, getting out the leaves and the acorns and tons of dead grass and all that. Got the tree guys coming to take down some of the medium branches up there that I just can't get to focus. But yeah, we'll get that tree under control. Finally, have the sprinklers going. Just realized yesterday that I hadn't had them on in I don't know how many weeks. Back when I was doing that electrical box work with the breaker, I had to shut off the whole house, and I just realized yesterday that the sprinkler timer either doesn't have a battery in it or it's a bad battery. It didn't save any settings, so it was sitting there blinking, waiting for programming. But it was a good thing because I turned it on and I checked everything, and I found a whole bunch of sprinklers that I didn't even know I had. They were buried underneath the landscaping on the sides of the house. And then I spent another hour trimming all the bushes and everything because they were in the way. They're all really loving it now that I cleared everything out for them. Super easy to get to all the acorns. It's looking like a freaking stereo store in here. Man, I'll tell you what, these things better blow me the hell away. I am keeping these boxes because look how close these things are in design and size. Oh, getting nervous. I mean, I really, if they sound great, I don't mind spending the extra $1,000. But if they're like barely better, they're going back. Because like I said, I do love these Polks. All right, so let me run you through these things here, show you what they're about, talk about some pointers and tips here if you're setting up your theater. Okay, so these are the brand new, latest 6th generation speakers from Klipsch, and they're kind of a weird animal. See, Klipsch has 2 distinct lines, and they're really, really close. They've got the reference line, that's what these are here. And then they have the slightly higher tier, their top of the line, called the Reference Premier line. Now, I'm betting the Reference Premier line is going to have a total refresh in 2019 coming up here. This is a brand new speaker, and it is virtually identical to the current Reference Premier. They both have matching designs, basically, and what they do is they just slightly tweak the specs. This is the Reference Premier 820. I'm sorry, this is the Reference 820. The Reference Premier is called the 280. Both use the same basic cabinet, slight dimension changes, but virtually the same. Both use dual 8-inch drivers. Both use a very similar tweeter. And the tweeter is really why you go to Klipsch. And you can see the huge difference in tweeters here. This is a horn, that's a dome. Very, very different sounds, and I do love the horn sound. I've demoed these speakers and other Klipsch before. It is kind of a love it or hate it thing, but it has some distinct advantages. I'll talk about that in a sec. But see, here's the difference between the current Reference Premier 280 and this Reference 820. The materials in the drivers, very slight differences. This is an aluminum horn tweeter, and the Premier uses titanium. These are spun copper, and the Premier uses a combination of copper and ceramic. That's really about it, with one other fairly significant difference, and I do wish I had this, but it's not worth double the price. They removed the dual binding posts, so you can't bi-amp or bi-wire the Reference like you could here with the Polk. And it did make a slight difference. I was happy with the difference. Bi-wiring, bi-amping is where if you have an extra couple channels of amplifier power, which I do with this receiver, you can direct them and basically double your power to the 2 main speakers. So you've got an internal crossover. Normally when you connect a single pair of wires into your speakers, a positive and a negative, they come into the speaker through the binding posts. And then what you have are basically 2 sections of the speaker. These are producing the low frequencies, and then you have the tweeters producing the high frequencies. Likewise with the Polk, you've got these 4 drivers. That's one thing that's kind of worrying me here. The Polk is moving a lot more air than these. Anyway, you've got the frequency split, and inside is a device called a crossover, and it physically splits the sound. The high frequencies go here, low frequencies go here, right? So bi-amping, I should say, is where you bypass the crossover and, well, I should say you bypass it. It's still in the loop, but you're allowing a full channel of power to go just to the low and a full channel of power to go just to the high. So you give yourself twice the potential power to the speaker. Now, in the case of these Polks, when I did it, I noticed a slight clarity bump, slight sound field bump. Now this room is untreated. It's very, very echoey. So if there is more to be gained from that, that's all I can tell. I can't pick it up in this room. So it's a small difference that I would like to have, but they removed it from here, I think, just to get you to go to the Premier line, because that's it. I mean, this thing has almost identical specs to the existing Premier. The Premier has a slightly wider frequency response, and that's it. But for double the price, no thanks. I'll take this one all day long. So the tweeter design, like I said, this is basically why you go to any Klipsch. This is like the signature of the company. One of the only ones that are mainstreaming using horn drivers. The difference is, when you have a dome tweeter, which the vast majority of speakers use, nothing wrong with them. They produce great sound. But they produce sound very wide. This is sitting flush in plane with the rest of the drivers, and it's throwing the sound, it's throwing that high-end sound, high-frequency sound all over the room. And it's bouncing all over the place. So you're sitting in your seat there, speakers are coming at you, it's coming all over the place. You get reflections, you get frequencies that are bouncing all over the place, hitting your ears from different angles. That's what produces reflections and refractions and messy sound. The horn gives you about a 90-degree locked-in spread. So it eliminates the bounce from the sides, vertical, and somewhat to the floor. I should be okay here because most of the sound is going to be hitting the carpet, but if you've got a long spread of floor, that would definitely help you there. So it helps give you a more directed sound field. It should give me a better image. Should, at least with music, with stereo music, it should give me a better sound stage. So that's the big thing with the horns over dome tweeters. So, but yeah, look at that. I mean, look how close these things are in size and design. Yeah, there's a slight width difference. That's really about it. Virtually identical in height and depth. Really, really close. And those quad drivers in that Polk, like I said, are moving more air, giving you more volume through that bass port. Port in the back here, still pretty beefy and chunky. It's rectangular. Definitely going to have to give it some space from the wall. I'm not too impressed with the feet design on the Klipsch. The Polk uses really nice feet. They've got these little side doodads sticking out, but underneath them are rubber spikes. You can't see them, but they're great for carpet, and they're actually really stable and really quiet. They produce a nice, solid mount. Whereas the Klipsch just use these screw-on plastic feet, these little rubber strips, and that's all you get. The problem with using these strips instead of spikes is when you have a slight level difference, you're going to notice. Now they do angle the speaker back a little bit, which I like. They give you I think they said a 2-degree angle back because the feet are different height front to back. But no floor is going to be perfectly level. And the bigger the footprint of the speaker, the more this is an issue. And of course, being closer to a corner or a wall, the more unlevel the floor is going to be. And even just sitting out here, which is pretty close to where the speakers are going to be sitting, the floor is not level. It wobbles. Now, again, this is why it's really critical to actually float the speakers on something. You can see where the spikes from the Polk were sitting on here, but these are the sorbitol pads, so they will soak up all the differences in the floor. But look at the clips, and more importantly, listen to it as it wobbles. Hear that click? That's those rubber feet sticking and making noise on the floor, whereas the spikes don't do that. So don't put your speakers directly on the floor is the point. Get yourself some kind of suspension. If you want to go crazy and spend a couple of $100 on the dedicated speaker stands, more power to you. They work great. Point is, get them off the floor. Never mount anything directly to the floor. I'm telling you guys, these things work wonders. Super cheap. I think they were $14 for a set of 8 on Amazon, and bam, done. I've got them underneath the sub, all the speakers, including the center, and they absolutely took care of all vibration and noise to the mounting surfaces. Okay, well, I'm gonna finish unboxing. I just put the feet on the other one over there. Quite a task to unbox them, let me tell you. But like I said, I'm keeping the boxes. I'm gonna be demoing these all day. What time is it? I got a guy coming over at 10:30. I got to do some work on his bike for him. He emailed me asking me some questions. I'm like, dude, just come over and I'll do it for you. So I got the time. Okay, back to work. Okay, we're all hooked up. Switched my biamp off back into a normal surround system. Got the mic. We're gonna plug it in, start our new calibration measurement and go from there. Well, that's interesting. Just ran through the auto setup, and what it does is, a whole bunch of different stuff. It checks your speakers for levels and distance and phase and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things it does is check the frequency response, can't speak yet this morning, of each speaker, and that determines the bass management, and it sets it to either small or large, basically saying, can the speaker produce enough bass where I don't have to cut off the bass and send it all to the subwoofer? And on the previous system, on the Polks, all three, the two mains and the front center, all detected as large. So they all had good enough bass where it didn't have to hard cut off at 80 hertz. This one detects the front mains as large, which was expected, but the center as small. So kind of as I suspected. This one, even though it's, it fits a lot better, it doesn't produce as much bass on its own as the Polk. I don't think it's gonna matter because it's all going to the, I'm falling over my chair here. It's all going to the subs anyway, but just an interesting thing to note there. Now here's an interesting question. Another thing, like I said, that it detects is all the distances of the speakers to the microphone, and that's to set all the different delays so that the sonic image hits that pinpoint precisely to give you the best possible image around the room. So you can see that I've got different measurements, and that's because I set the mic in my actual seat, which is not center with the room. This is a two-person couch, and I usually sit there to watch my movies. So here's the question. Should you set up your system so that your listening position has everything set for it? Meaning the actual image is not centered between your speakers. It's not centered in the room. I mean, look at the distance between the surrounds. You've got almost 2 feet difference. That's a lot of delay going to that one speaker just to get you that image so it's perfectly centered. So that's going to skew it for everybody else. But if I were to put that mic in the center where nobody sits, it's going to give you an equal image for everybody, but equally off. So what do? I think I'm actually going to recenter it and put everything perfectly aligned, and that will give everybody an equal experience. But if it were just me, yeah, I would leave it exactly where I sit. The other thing is, if I listen to a lot of music, I listen to music, but not a ton of music. This is not a music listening room. It's a living room. It's primarily a theater. But if I was listening to a ton of music, absolutely. Well, number one, I would have my listening position centered, first of all. And I would have everything set up perfectly. But, just something to think about. And if you're wondering if you don't have this kind of setup or you haven't run it, most receivers in the last several years have this kind of thing. It's not just a Yamaha thing. Tons of different brands do it. So if you haven't run this, definitely do it. It makes a huge difference. So now with the mic centered on the couch, and of course the room is eyeballed, you can see that it's just about spot on. Oh, I hear a motorcycle. Time to go to work. All right, so I think I got Pedro all set here. Give him a throttle body sync. He just got the bike used and, well, it's all out of whack. Gave him a new suspension setup, tuned out. So he's going out right now to do his first test run, checking for all the vibration. He's got a very nice Motorrad riser on his bars, so that will affect the vibration a bit. May have to put on some end weights, we'll see. But the suspension should be much better for him. He was totally out of whack. Another happy customer, even though it was free. He said the TBS got rid of all the vibration, now his wrist doesn't hurt. And he said the suspension is absolute day and night. He said he loved it before and would have been completely happy riding it for years, but he never knew. See ya, Pedro. Okay, I've been doing a lot of tuning and testing here. Got everything dialed in, of course. I have a quandary. I'm really debating keeping them or not. They're better and worse. All right, here's the big thing. The Polks had a bigger sweet spot. They simply did. I could sit in either one of these couch seats and the Polks sounded just as good. But these only have a one seat sweet spot. But if you're in it, oh my God, is it good? It is noticeably better. I had to check my settings to make sure I wasn't in 5.1 because I would have sworn anything that center channel was playing the vocals. These have a pinpoint soundstage. They have, I just convinced myself to keep them, just talking about it. These have such a wide and deep soundstage that the Polks didn't quite have. Those were great, but I never heard things going wider than the speakers. I can close my eyes and I can hear things stage left and stage right, and I can hear things behind the speakers. Now, I don't know if that's because these are off the wall because of the bass port and the Polks had to be against the walls. If that was playing into the sonicography or what. I know this is not the optimum room. This freaking fireplace in the middle here, it's still messing with the mid-bass coupling. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't have any other room. But the Yamaha EQing is definitely helping. It sounds nice and flat. Yeah, it's just, I'm gonna definitely go back and retune for my seat. Because like I said earlier, with the Polks, either one was fine. So with it tuned here in the center, just being off this far, just, a foot off center, it's not the same. But if I just move here, oh man, is it sweet. The wife just doesn't hear these things. She doesn't care. So I can talk to her all day about specs and ask her if this looks or sounds better, and she'd be like, I don't know. So she's not going to care about a sweet spot. I don't think she even knows what it is. But I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to recalibrate for my seat, have the best sound from this seat, and enjoy it because it is really nice. Here's the other thing. I was actually shocked and disappointed. I started to play stuff. You know, I have a Spotify playlist of different stuff that's high quality audio that I like to listen to, and it's also really good for testing. And I wasn't impressed. I mean, it was sounding exactly like the Polks. I mean, like, no difference. Thinking, wow, I gotta box these back up and take them back. And then I turned it up. Bingo. At higher volume levels. I don't mean blaring like party levels. I'm just talking normal movie cinema levels. These things came alive. The upper end. All right, there was a track I was playing, and I don't know the name of the brush, but you know, the brush they use on like slow jazz to scrape it on cymbals, that kind of sound. I swear I could see the guy doing it. I felt the strokes. It was palpable coming through with the high end, and I never got that or anything like that with the Polks. You heard it, but it wasn't there. Voices, female vocals, are just present. It's like they are standing in front of you. It's not just a really nice sounding track anymore. Now it's very clear. This is a upper level of clarity to the top end that I didn't have. This is really showing me how much I need the larger sub. This is an excellent clip sub. There's no problem with it whatsoever, but it is out of breath. It's maxed out. When I crank it up in a movie, it's just below its clipping point. So it's giving me everything it's got. And it's just not quite filling up the room and quite filling in the bass. And it's got nothing in the 20s. It only goes down to 30. So it is definitely missing stuff. And with these two set on large, I'm going to play around right now and switch them to small and just see what the difference is. But I've been playing them without the sub on, just the mains, just 2-channel stereo to see what they've got. So yeah, definitely going to keep them. Are they worth $1,000 more than the other setup? Gotta say no. But now that I've got them here, I just can't give them back. Okay, recalibrated once again. I've got the mains now in small, crossed over to 80, same as the center. I also brought up the subwoofer trim. It defaulted to the -10. That's one thing that the automatics just don't get right in the bass management. They often really dial down the sub. So I've cranked that up a bit. I'll play with it here manually. That's something you can dial in to taste. You know, adding how much sub bass, that doesn't have to be a reference level. Add that to taste. So that's what I'll do. Time to play some more music. Ooh, that made a big difference. Playing this track right here, it sounds pretty much like she's sitting in my fireplace. Sitting right here, I'm about 2 feet from the back wall. It sounds like I have a pair of headphones on. However, if I lean forward just slightly, I mean just to the edge of the couch here, even sharper. You think I can move the couch and the wife won't notice? I really do want to move it just a foot. That would look so stupid though, because I'd have to move these chairs up too, and it's just not that big of a room. I think I'm gonna live with it right here. It sounds really good. I'm amazed at how small the sweet spot is though, but damn, when you're in it, you're in it. Well, I think that's as far as I go. I really need room treatment. I wish I could just push that wall back like another 10 feet. That would be ideal. It's better to have a long room than a wide room, but that's all I can do. Okay, can't wait till the sub gets here. Still haven't got a ship notice. It's gonna be at least a week. But in the meantime, got something else in the mail. So I got the new ABS sensor. This is a genuine Kia part. Didn't get any good deals on Amazon. Like I said, the rears just don't go out on these dang things. So, yeah, there's no good aftermarket deals on pairs or anything like that, but I got a good deal on eBay for this OEM one. It was a little over 40 bucks shipped, and I'm glad it came today. I was expecting it next week. They said it was on the slow boat from Korea, but it just arrived. I'm torn. I want to put this on. Wife's going to be home in an hour. Might be able to get it done in an hour, but I want to keep tweaking the damn speakers. So I want to try and expand this sweet spot as much as possible. Ideally, I would like both seats to have a great stereo image. Right now, it's just the one seat. I've got this little circle pool right here. Man, it is really, really nice. But I would like for her to have it too. I mean, okay, in movies, it's not important. I'll give you that. The sound is coming from the center channel. I'm not talking about 5.1. I'm talking about sound. This is more of a personal goal here to just get the best results possible. I know she's not listening to music. I don't even think she knows how to play music on here. But I would like the sweet spot to be a little bit bigger, just to get it as good as I can get. So, okay, I've done so far spreading them apart a little bit. That helped. I don't want to go any further. I already noticed a slight difference here in the mid bass. The mid bass was just slightly better with them in. I can't go anywhere in between though because of this cabinet. I can either put the cabinet all the way to the right or all the way to the left. This is as far as I can move the speaker over with the cabinet over here. So I need to be able to open the door. Now I've got them, as you can see here, towed in. Not a lot. They're not directly at the seating position. They're probably 15, 20 degrees at most. 30 degrees would be pointing directly at the seating position. And as you tow them in, the sweet spot gets smaller and smaller. So I want to try them now directly facing out, like I had the Polks. And I'm just going to A/B test real quick. Then I can try pulling them out further and further from the wall. That is the next thing you can do. I've got them about a foot away from the wall right now. I don't want to put them up against the wall. And I've got another 8 inches or so before she starts to complain. I had them out even with the mantle, or not the mantle, whatever you call the bottom of the fireplace there. And she was fine with that. Past there, she was bitching. And actually past there, I don't like it because you can accidentally nick the side of this when you walk through. That's my limit. So we got this to play with. We got the tow in to play with. I want to go ahead and do some A/B testing. I'll give you a couple tracks that are giving me some really good results, and you can test them yourself, and I'll tell you exactly what to listen for and what I'm listening for to A/B test here. Okay, we're getting there. Towing them out did make a difference. It actually improved the sweet spot about half the couch. I can now sit in the right seat. Excellent image. I can move my head over to the center of the couch and it's still the same. Left seat, now it starts to drift and now it sounds like his voice is right there in the speaker. I can tell it's coming from the speaker. But just moving over this much, now he's right there. He's in that stocking right there. He's singing Message in a Bottle. This is his live, can't remember what to say, the Oak Mountain Amphitheater. And it's an excellent soundstage in the sweet spot. You can hear him right here on the mic. This is also really good for testing your mid-bass coupling, for getting that distance of the speakers right. Unfortunately, this back wall is killing me. I'm hoping moving these speakers forward are gonna solve this. If not, I'm gonna eat this couch forward. But okay, so here's what you do. Right here, it's good. It's not great. If I move back, if I scooch my head back, the bass the mid bass gets really thin. You can specifically listen to when he slaps the guitar body. When he strums and slaps that dunk, dunk, dunk. With my head back here, it's kind of like tick, tick, tick. As I move forward, and if I'm right here, like hovering in between the coffee table and the couch, it's hitting me in the chest. It's just alive. just that, I don't know, not even a foot difference. Huge difference in the sound. Right here, just magical. Here, good, not great. Here, thin. I mean, it's like somebody's just dialing the bass knob up and down. Just that little difference. This is what the Room does. This is why it drives me crazy and why I spend hours and hours and hours testing this stuff. So next thing I'm gonna do is move these forward. I'm not doing any retuning in between, so I'm not playing with the delays or the levels or anything. I will do that after I figure out the physical placement. You don't need to do that unless you do something really drastic, like move these, you know, a couple feet. Okay, well, bringing them out did change things, and not for the better, actually. What it did was made no change to the size of the sweet spot. It's still about half the couch. I don't have both seats covered, just from about here down to my seat. But what it did was kind of widen everything and not make, when I'm in the sweet spot, as sharp. They're more like the Polks were when they were dialed in. So it's missing that razor sharp, he is standing right there kind of headphones kind of sound. So I'm gonna put them back, and I think that will be as good as they get there. When I get the new sub, I may be able to fix the missing bass. I mean, it's gonna change, and I'll have to figure out if that's gonna be where the new sub will live or not. But hopefully I can fix that hole with the new sub. But I think putting these back, I also just slightly towed them in, seemed to give just a little bit better image, but that's gonna be as good as this room gets. Very, very happy, so that's that. Okay, let's see if we can get this car fixed before the wife gets home. Oh my God, I am ready to shoot this car. I shouldn't say that. It's been a good car. This is a minor issue that has cost me 3 times as much as it should have. This isn't the part I need. Unlike the fronts, the sensors are not built into the cables. This is just the cable. I got it all detached. And I'm looking at the end of the cable on the car going, wait a minute, this is not a sensor. This is just a damn cable. Yeah, the sensor on the rear, let me turn on the light for you. The sensor on the rear, see those 4 bolts in that round thing? That's the sensor. So you just unplug the cable. You don't even have to take the cable out. I gotta put all this back. You just unplug that one plug, take out those 4 bolts and replace the sensor. So now I gotta find the sensor itself. So make a note, if you have a bad ABS sensor on the Kia, the fronts, built into the cables, rears, separate piece, much easier. You don't need this. And that explains why in this eBay listing, it said ABS cable and the cable was in all caps. I thought it was just, you know, the way they did the listing. I was completely unaware the sensor and the cable in the rear were separate. Okay, back to the drawing board, putting all this back together, and then I'll find the right part to order, and at least it's a super easy fix once I actually get the part. Damn it. And this one wasn't as bad as I remembered. It was only 33 bucks, so not a huge deal in the end. And now I'm third guessing myself. I'm on Kia, and they are naming it the rear speed sensor. I don't know. Let's see. I'm busy tomorrow, but a couple days, I'm just gonna replace it and see what happens. All right, guys, that's gonna be a multi-day wrap. Wife's gonna be home soon. I need to shower and shave. We're going out with friends tonight. Might come over here later to hang out, not sure. Depends on what they feel like doing and how late we stay out. So that's it. I will see you guys next time.